Welcome to Hotline TV. I'm Quinn McCord.
And I'm Amy Walter. Well, when facing a tough primary, politicians sometimes suffer short-term memory loss. It happens to all of us, but in this year's primaries, it has been an epidemic. All right, today, my friend Quinn here and I are going to look at the senators who have committed the most spectacular position switch, is otherwise known in the vernacular of campaigns as a flip-flop. Now, here are the people that we are going to rank, Quinn. Charlie Crist, Arlen Specter, John McCain, and Blanche Lincoln.
Yeah.
So for our number 4, basically the person who we say has flip-flop but is not the most egregious.
Yes.
I'm going to put Blanche Lincoln. Now, she has just taken a couple of interesting positions in this primary contest. First, she came out of the box saying she was, I'm going to fight the unions, I fought against the public option, basically positioning herself as this moderate, I'm not a party line person. She ends her campaign with an ad that calls herself the deciding vote on healthcare, clearly concerned about appealing to Democrats. So this isn't necessarily a flip-flop as much as it is an emphasis change.
Yeah, I agree in the same place, and I don't think I can add to that is her first ad, the one where she talked about being against the public option, it was after Halter had announced, so it was kind of strange that, was that she wasn't taking him seriously back then, or she just thought the general election would be more competitive? The timing was odd on there. But
what she was trying to do, I think, which is what all of these guys are trying to do, is she was trying to establish herself as an anti-Washington, even though she's part of Washington, how she had stood up to Washington. And what became apparent as the race went on and the money started to pour in, that she could no longer just afford to have that tact, and then she went after Halter, and the rest is history. Well, it will be history tonight. Okay.
Yes.
The next person I would put on here, I don't know what you're going to do, but
I'll let you go.
I'm going to put Arlen Specter. Again, this is not a guy who's, now we know that he's had a position or change of heart on something like EFCA. And we know, for example, somebody like Elena Kagan, who had voted against for Solicitor General. Now he's saying he's open to and excited about her as Supreme Court Justice. Again, it's not egregious. He didn't suddenly become, he didn't suddenly change position between he's pro-choice, now he's pro-life, or he's pro-life. These are, again, in emphasis, but one could argue that if he were running in a Republican primary, these would not be the issues he would focus on.
Yeah.
Agree?
Well, I agree, but
or you're going to put somebody
but it's
else
for
in.
that reason, I think I would rank McCain a little lower than the Specter, only because you really are dealing with a complete magnitude of difference when you're talking about a party switch. Because there are so many sort of party line votes you have to take in the Senate, simply by virtue of being with one party or the other. Some of which we may learn about, pay attention to, some may not. I think of how many votes Specter would be taking different, as you said, if he was running a Republican primary right now. Now McCain, of course, I'm not a maverick.
Yeah, that's why he's
that's
number 2.
egregious.
You cannot say, I don't know why people call me a maverick. That, to me, is the most egregious. That's not it's
egregious.
I'm going to move my voting record a little bit and talk about a dang fence. This is a guy who is now running away from the very thing he campaigned on. So I find him number 2. All right, who do you put as number 2 then?
Then
you put Specter.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
But they're both
that party switch reason. That's fine. And we both agree. Number 1.
Oh yeah.
Charlie Crist. I mean, he really makes our job easy, because every day he just comes out there, drilling. I know I was for it, then I was against it. Now let's have a special session and just get rid of it altogether. Abortion? I said I was pro-life, but now really I'm going to veto this thing.
I don't want to impose my views on anyone.
Right, Sotomayor, she was terrible. Elena Kagan, love her. Right, so he really, he's going to win awards down the line for this, but again, makes it fun. All right, that brings us to our next topic, Quinn, which is bandwagon.
Oh, okay.
Which candidate, campaign, et cetera, are you jumping on or off? I am jumping on the Joe Sestak bandwagon. Win or lose, here's a guy who, let's face it, he's done things a little unconventionally. He does not have a traditional campaign team. Basically, has his family running his campaign. He was getting a lot of criticism for basically waiting until the very end to launch his assault on Arlen Specter. He started off with a 60-second, pretty positive ad describing himself. People thought, he doesn't need to get more contrast with Specter. And you know what? The fact is, this is a disciplined guy who ran a very disciplined campaign and shrunk a huge lead in a matter of just a few weeks. So I am definitely on his bandwagon. Certainly if he wins, it would be a big upset. But even if he comes up short, nobody can say that he was a terrible candidate.
Yeah. My bandwagon, I wasn't going to pick a primary from today.
All right.
But like you, I'm going to be brave, though, and say I'm not going to predict a win for Dan Mangiardo in Kentucky Senate. But I thought it was strange that everyone is predicting a Jack Conway win in this primary. And I think that may reflect sort of the D.C. notion that Conway has all the establishment support and more money.
And he did more money. I mean, he really did start moving in these last couple of weeks thanks to that.
And he may win. He may win. I just think, though, that it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
All right. That's a very good one. All right. Thank you.
And
Dan Mangiardo thanks you.
Yes. Are we doing?
We're going to do an ad now.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
ads.
our favorite ad of the week. Now, because we had so many primaries, we couldn't just pick among those. We decided to kind of go maybe out of the box, so to speak, and pick our favorite ad this week. It's Dale Peterson. Now, we don't cover Dale Peterson. He's running for Alabama Ag Commissioner, but his message is one that I think a lot of federal candidates should take note of. This dude is angry. I mean, he is really angry. He's angry at people stealing his lawn signs. He's angry at what people are saying on Facebook. He's got a gun. He's got a horse. He has aviator sunglasses and a hat. That's what you need to win this cycle, my friends. Take a look.
I'm Dale Peterson, and I'm after the Republican nomination for Alabama Agriculture Commissioner. I've been a farmer, a businessman, a cop, a Marine during Vietnam, so listen up. Alabama Ag Commissioner is one of the most powerful positions in Alabama, responsible for $5 billion. Bet you didn't know that. You know why? Thugs and criminals. If they can keep you in the dark, they can do whatever they want with all that money. And they don't give a rip about Alabama. Here we are, losing 3 family farms a day. Illegals bust in by the thousands, and Alabama's unemployment's at an all-time high. And what are my opponents doing about it? Stealing yard signs in the dark of night from my supporters. Norman Grace brags on his Facebook page about receiving contributions from industries he would regulate. Bragging about receiving illegal money on Facebook. Who on earth would support such a dummy? And why? We're Republicans. We should be better than that. I'm Dale Peterson. I'll name names and take no prisoners. Give me the Republican nomination for Ag Commission, and let's show Alabama we mean business.
Well, who knows? After seeing that, perhaps the horse will replace the pickup truck as the vehicle du jour in this ad season.
I know. I'd love to see Scott Brown on a horse galloping through Faneuil Hall, like Paul Revere style. Could work.
Could work. It could work. Well, flip-flops might not be good for politicians, but they sure are good for the hotline. Right, Amy?
This is the stuff we love. Thank you. Thank you, politicians. Thank you for giving us something to work with. All right. We are out of time for today.
But until next time, we'll see you on Hotline TV.